7 Sport presents The Big Replay, sponsored for your enjoyment by your Mitsubishi Motors dealer, Hallett Brick and NEC.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. 90 minutes of great football action coming your way tonight as we follow 3 of those 4 sides involved in that bottleneck battle, not only for the minor premiership of 1984, but also for that vital double chance in the finals so very, very near. A split round of league football this weekend, the 20th round, 4 games decided in Adelaide this afternoon. There were 17,000 people that braved the wet and wintry conditions to take in all of that action. Of course, the round concludes tomorrow. When at about 2 o'clock we go live to the Norwood Oval for the game between Norwood and West Adelaide. On the big replay tonight, the 2 games coming your way. The big game of the day down at the Bay between Glenelg and South Adelaide. And of course at Football Park today, Centrals came up against Torrens. Ian Day and Peter Marker were down there to take in all the action. And Ian, it was a real danger game for Centrals, having lost to Port and Glenelg in successive weeks.
Yes, they haven't handled it too well at all lately, Rick, and West Torrens this afternoon made Central Districts work very, very hard indeed to win by 15 points. West Torrens led by a point at quarter time. They led by 3 points at three-quarter time, but they couldn't go on with it. But 26 minutes into the second quarter, it may have been the time when West Torrens lost the game. Saru, who had been absolutely magnificent up until half-time, he went down with a shoulder injury, and from then on he couldn't raise his left shoulder above his head. And from then on, Richard Cousins took over in ruck. Now, I believe he might have even gone onto the ground with a shoulder injury, but you can see him in the background there. He's in pain indeed. And of course, West Torrens didn't have any other big man, and every time they directed the ball towards Saru at a kick-out or in-field play, he couldn't put up that left arm at all. Richard Cousins took control of the game in the second half. He brought young Johnny Platten into it, who played another fine game with 4 goals. And from then on, Central Districts went on to win by 15 points, but as I said, they had to work very hard for it. Cousins is a very important player as far as the Dogs are concerned. When you have a look at the other sides in the top 5, you've got Glenelg with Kernahan and Carey, Port Adelaide with Kennedy and Johnson, and South Adelaide have only got Gary Christie, so it's pretty important that Richard Cousins is going to play well for the final series. And I think now Centrals will get the double chance.
The thoughts of Ian Day. Checking the scores of the other 2 games played in Adelaide today. Sturt, 11 goals 8, 74 points. Defeated North Adelaide, 7 goals 9, 51. And Port Adelaide, 8 goals 8, 56. 20-point win over Woodville on 5 goals 6, 36. Well, the big game of the day was at the Bay today when Glenelg, on top of the premiership table for the first time since 1981, they came up against South Adelaide, the first and third teams on the premiership table. It was a big day for David Kernahan, 100 senior games for Glenelg today, and congratulations to Stephen. Peter Carey won the toss for Glenelg. He elected to kick to the southern end. There was a strong breeze blowing across the ground, and it certainly was the scoring end for Peter Carey and the Bays in the first quarter. And also, congratulations to the Glenelg club as well for the use of that helicopter just before the game, because the ground certainly dried out very well and it provided the spectators down there with some great fine action. Just checking the 2 teams before they went out onto the ground. David Holst, who was in some doubt with that calf injury, he was taken out of the 22 along with Adam Garton. And in the first quarter for South Adelaide, they got off to a bad start. David Campbell had to leave the ground for stitches to the side of his head, and poor old Graham Cornes again injured that knee in the first quarter. Glenelg got off to a very good start. They added 2 very quick goals. At the 11-minute mark, the scores were locked together on 2 goals, 1 apiece, but then through Peter Carey and Stephen Kernahan, Glenelg went away with the breeze in that first quarter, and at quarter time, they led 7 goals 2, 44 points, to South Adelaide 3 goal 1, 19. And we're going to pick up play now at the start of the second quarter. South ruckman Gary Christie to begin the Panthers' charge this quarter. They're down by 25 points. It'll be Christie against Carey. Carey got the punched forward. Fairclough heavily met by Campbell. In fact, make that the other way round. Campbell heavily met by Fairclough. Campbell got the free kick. Quick little dummy up towards the forward area. Copping. Oh, how's that for courage? He ran in at Nayley, and he's felt that one pretty badly, I think.
I think he'll be all right. He would have winded himself. He took it on body. Probably the ball jammed between he and Mark Nayley.
So, 2 Bay players hurt in the opening minute. Poor old Campbell.
What did he do? He kicked it clearly.
He was the player that ran smack into Fairclough, Robert.
Oh, right.
Almost 2 collisions in as many seconds. But it's Copping with the ball. Well within kicking distance. He's got 1 on the board already. Can he make it number 2? Goal umpire watches it go straight over his head, and that is his second. Glenelg have now got 8 goals, 2 on the board to South 3-1.
Well, in an interview I had with Coach Campbell last week, there was no way he was going to play Stephen Copping today. But sure enough, there he is. He's out there, kicking the ball beautifully. Doesn't look as though he's got any injury. Maybe he was using the interview situation to stimulate Stephen somewhat, because Stephen unable to train. But he started off this game in very good form.
So Glenelg with a 5-goal, 1 break on the home ground, and that's pretty handy with heavy conditions today. Christie won it. Campbell, he's back on. Had to go off in the first quarter with a cut on the face. Oh, nice move there, Irvine. This should be a goal. Valuable one too. Hewitt. Through it goes. South Adelaide get one back. 4 goals, 1 now behind the Bays, 8-2.
South Adelaide moved that ball well out of the centre. Even though it caught Campbell on his wrong foot, he managed to get it around, and a good take by Irvine. Sharking like a good rover should, and then sent the handball forward to Darryl Hewitt, who had made very good position for him in the goal square. It just popped through the easiest of goals. And South Adelaide will need to get a few very quickly. They want to maintain their opportunity to finish high up on the premiership table in the top 3. So they don't want to lose today's game, but they've got a lot of work to do if they want to get back into it.
David Campbell back on to start this quarter for South Adelaide. He left early in the first quarter with a cut, which I believe he may have had stitched. So McDermott for the Bays gets the kick out of the centre towards the outer side. Chase is on. Glyn Hewitt and Campbell. Hewitt's got it now. Gets the handball out the side to Kapler. Kapler on that left foot hooks it around. McFarlane for the Bays. Oh, he's pushed out of the way by Slattery. Let's go of the ball, and it's over the line.
See, that's a good push, isn't it? He was on his wrong foot just then and just going to kick it. And just at that critical moment, Slattery unloaded him.
Just in the attack side of centre for South Adelaide. As Nayley taps it in front of him, keeps it in, gets it on. Salisbury, though, did he take the mark? No, play it on, says the umpire. Out it comes through Hewitt to Kapler. Kapler finds Harris.
Oh, well done. Magnificent pass.
At this stage, we look like getting our 3rd goal within 3 minutes. A very bright opening to the second quarter at Brighton Road. That looks good enough. So it is. South Adelaide now 5 goals, 1, and Glenelg 8-2. So South Adelaide move on to 32 points. They're behind Glenelg, still by, 18 points now, 3 goals clear.
Duthie's kick to the outer side, looking for Carey. Schneebichler again came out with the ball. He's a long kick. He's boomed that back from where it came from. And how about that for a goal by Schneebichler? A personal effort, took it out of the pack and boomed it through. So South are on the way back. They're 6-2 and Glenelg 8-2.
Well, that's reminiscent of that goal we saw John Schneebichler kick in the state match. That was from a set kick, but on this occasion we saw him fly around from the back of a pack, and he's got a leg like a sledgehammer when he lets it go. He doesn't seem to time the ball all that well, but he just powers it away, and that ball just never stopped going. It cleared the pack by some 10 metres and scored South Adelaide's 6th goal.
We're just coming up to the 6-minute mark. We've already seen 4 goals scored in the quarter. Great tap forward by Kernahan. Marshall off the ground, half forward. Picked up there by McIntyre for the Panthers, though, who drives it out. Maybe a missed kick, but it's found the space for Kapler. Kapler on the wing. Just to get it quickly on to Bennett.
Beautifully done, Bennett.
On the Butler. Butler's got Nayley inboard. Nayley, lovely turn. Fairclough runs his full distance. Drives it into the full forward position. Over the head of Harris. Whoa! That's a goal!
Yes, Hewitt.
Now, that was a misreading by the Bay defenders, who managed to muck each other up. Hewitt off the back of the pack, and through she goes for a goal. His second. South Adelaide back in it. 7-2 behind Glenelg's 8-2.
That bit of play then was actually started by a wonderful take in the half-back area by Michael Bennett. He did a little half-volley take when he was under pressure. He could have fallen over, but he didn't. Then he picked up the ball, gave it across, and Nayley with a beautiful back turn and a left-hand handball, and then to Fairclough to the square. Magnificent bit of play, capped off by Hewitt.
Despite the slippery conditions, the scoring for goals very good here. 19 scoring shots so far and only 4 minor scores on the board. And South have started the second quarter in great style, already doubled their score. They've added 4-goal-1 this quarter. The umpire whistle has blown. He's going to ball it up, umpire Hilton. The sun shining and the crowd now getting right into this game. The bounce, a very good one. Kernahan will go up against Christie. Marshall was on the bottom of the pack with McDermott. Gary Christie holds it on the deck, and Hilton will bounce again. Just outside that mud patch. Kernahan, no opposition to Stringer. It's Wayne Stringer, up towards half forward. Oh, Palmer fell at the wrong time.
Malcolm Greenslade almost got a kick there.
Yeah, and he's getting a word from Des Foster to stay out of the way of the game, I think.
Gee, that's not Malcolm Greenslade. What made you say Greeny? That just looks like Malcolm Greenslade.
It is. He used to be the runner, didn't he?
He did. That just looks like him.
Meanwhile, with the ball, David Kapler had a little juggle with it. Couldn't quite keep it inside the boundary line. So we'll see a throw in. Grandstand side. Crowd cheering. Sun shining. Turned out to be a beautiful day at the moment. Fairclough, the back of the pack, sat there, waited for it, got the tap. Skipped off the side of the boot and over the boundary line again.
So the throw in now on the grandstand wing. Kernahan and Schneebickler for South Adelaide this time. Schneebickler in front, got it down to Nayley. Too quickly, in fact. Kernahan picks it up. Awkward kick forward. Kidney managed to hold it for a while. Gibbs now with it. He falls over. Geez, tried a lot with it. Gibbs still got the ball in the bottom. Is at Kidney now. A little bit of interest there. Kidney's another stocky player.
Yeah, Graham Cornes hopped up off the bench there, visited the boundary line and gave Des Foster a burst.
Foster bounce. Kernahan. McDermott's got the tackle on the South Adelaide players. Bennett it is.
Cornes is up again. Cornes is up and down like a jackrabbit. He's getting a bit excited in that box.
His knee can't be that painful then, Robert. Brooksby for South Adelaide. Over the top he goes to Kapler. That's Darren Kapler. Have a look at him go. Runs his 10. Bounce. Geez, Copping's got a lot of chasing to do. Kapler's left foot kick covers a good 60 to 65 metres. Harris almost the finger tipper. Couldn't quite control it and it's out of bounds. So South moved that very quickly from their back line to their left forward pocket in attack.
Yeah, Kapler could have bounced that on the ground. It was a dry day. He really could have gone another, but he wasn't prepared to take the chance.
Panthers just 6 points down, making a real game of it here on the Bay's home ground. Out it comes. Dewhurst lines him up. He's got it. The scores are all tied up here. Dewhurst has his third, and the scores are 8-2 each.
Hilton holds the ball up. South Adelaide by one straight kick here at the Bay Oval. Carey against Christie. McGuinness got the kick out of the centre, up towards the half-forward line. Alan Stringer and Robin White. The fall of the ball went to Kernahan, up towards the pocket area. Copping, outstretched hands, couldn't take it in. He must be out of bounds, there's no out-boundary umpire there. Great tackle applied there by Bennett. Snap around the body by Campbell, was it? It's a goal. I'd like to see that in replay because I would have said Copping was out of bounds, but the goal stands. Glenelg draw level. 9 goals for to South, 9-4.
Well, that certainly didn't take very long with inside the first minute of play. Glenelg going into attack, Copping getting an opportunity to run around the boundary line. He did it in slow motion in the end, getting it to boot. Then Campbell made an absolutely impossible shot. Look easy.
So we're all tied up on 9-4 each at Brighton Road. Carey against Christie. McDermott shoved it out. And no progress, and so another bounce by umpire Hilton. Conditions in the first half have been good, and fortunately it looks like the rain will hold off for a bit longer. Now a chance for Dewhurst to tap it forward. Doesn't go far, though, only into the mud. Over Schneebickler's head, Seabohm to mop up at the back for the Bays. He's got to go back. Motlop tries for it, McDermott. There's plenty of pressure, neither side able to get clear in this mud patch. What will the umpire do with it? He's forced into another bounce after just 1.5 minutes of play.
So umpire Hilton will bounce up. Glenelg have got Tony Hall onto the ground for this third quarter. He's at full forward at the moment. Meanwhile, Marshall with the ball, breaks away from the pack. Handball towards Alan Stringer. Oh, missed the bump by Bennett. Well done, Bennett. Across the ground he comes to Glenn Hewitt. Hewitt, well tackled by McDermott, dumped into the mud. Handball was wild. Simons off the side of the boot towards the outer side. Shane Butler's the only South player out there. He's got it. Robin Kidney coming in very quickly. Umpire's going to let play go on. South down the outer side. Salisbury was in front. Ball out of bounds and a ball in.
The wind's expected to be blowing more from the west as the afternoon goes on, perhaps not quite with the same intensity as it has in the first half, and that'll mean Glenelg will need to get a real leg into gear right in this early part of the third quarter.
There's a good mark. Stuck his behind out to prevent the spoil.
So Slattery has got a good opportunity here, Keith.
He's looking pretty well into that breeze, which is not coming quite from the west. There's a bit of north in it as well. So it's pretty well coming into the face of Slattery as he lines up to put South Adelaide back in front. It's across the front. Standing steady right in the front of the pack is Duthie.
Chris Duthie out manoeuvring Darren Harris. Then Harris was thinking about shepherding the goal through at one point of time. Duthie's kick out. Big fly by Seabone. Got up high. 2 hands up. Brought it down. John Seabone. They come to the mud patch, ill-directed. Oh, Nailey dropped it. Maybe should have taken it. Barging his way through. McDermott. Away he goes. Gets the bays up towards the full forward area. Copping was in front. Bennett. Oh, couldn't pick it up. Copping taps it forward. He's got it now. Handball comes backwards to Kernahan. Kernahan into the pocket area. Looking for Tony Hall. Stewie Palmer looking for the holding the ball decision on Copping. Gives him a little tap on the shoulder and says, "You all right, mate? Didn't win that one, but look out next time." Bounce up. Kernahan tapped it out towards McDermott's way. His handball completely missed the player running the boundary line.
Wasn't within a bull's roar.
So the throw in on the half-forward line for Glenelg. Outer side. Kernahan up high. Beautiful tap down to Campbell. His ball goes very high, right into the square. Bit of pushing and shoving going on. Here's a chance for Kidney. Is he legged? Play it on, says the umpire. Ball. Holding the ball.
Quite right. He jumped into the air when the tackle came, and I don't think it was legged. When he came between the two players, he jumped, then fell to ground, and then was held again. And I think that he had the opportunity to get rid of the ball. The umpire judged the same, and a free kick for holding the ball.
And 15 metres as well. Local crowd do not like it. 5 minutes gone of this quarter. Brooksby's kick covers about 50 metres towards the boundary line for the throw-in. The South get out of that one. The umpire throws in. Christie against Carey. It's been a good ruck duel. The youngster doing well against the more experienced Peter Carey. And the boundary line goes McGuinness. Trying to use a bit of pace. Butler taps it backwards. Glenn Hewitt. He gets a shove as he gets rid of it. Well, he's fighting hard over there. Again, McGuinness. Handball again, ill-directed.
Butler got hold of it for a moment, but he was tackled, and it's a very tight start to the quarter. The bounce is taking place just outside the half-forward line for Glenelg. It's tapped forward. Robin White was in front, out of bounds yet again.
Would you think it would be a fair comment to make that perhaps Glenelg's game during this season has changed somewhat in that they don't seem to kill off teams like they used to in big scores, but they never put themselves in the situation where they get so far behind now that they can't catch them up either?
Well, certainly tried to get a break and in fact hit the front in the first quarter of this game, but then South Adelaide did it well in the second quarter, and now Nailey does it well to take it right in towards full forward. But Slattery falls over, Irvine picks it up and has a shot. So now it goes down the other end and out of bounds.
He was a bit careless by Mick Irvine there. Didn't really aim that kick. He just threw it over the shoulder and hoped he didn't aim it for the goal square. A little bit more than perhaps he had to.
Pretty sizable crowd here, given that it was looking pretty grim around lunchtime when people would have had to make the decision. Good on him for turning up to a great game of footy as Campbell takes it on. Oh, here's pressure again.
Tackle by Salisbury, wasn't it? Put pressure on Hewitt. Simons made the error, but made up for it. The Bays again will bring it out of defence towards centre wing. Campbell couldn't control it.
That tackle on Hewitt, quite often you can find they'll pay that for in the back, that one Salisbury gave. So Glenelg having a little bit of luck as well.
Carey takes it on to Campbell. Hewitt shot one out, but Simons grabbed it off him. Kidney in front. Oh, second grab, third grab. Well done, Robin Kidney.
Great mark.
And the 15 metres. Michael Bennett gives away. Popping in front. So Glenelg now working it forward the hard way, taking the marks. Popping will go right into the square to find Kernahan.
Carey worked up the centre half forward again to make an opportunity there, as he did in the first quarter, but Christie was with him on this occasion.
The wind's behind Stephen Copping. She's gone way to the left, but that was deliberate.
Tony Hall.
Just set that ball in front of the pack, so I'd have to give Copping the credit for seeing that was the play. And Tony Hall came out, took a fine mark in front of the pack. So now the Bays with a chance to hit the front, which they do with a goal. So they go to 10-4 on South's 9. As we come up to the 10-minute mark of this exciting third quarter, Duthie booms one out to the outer side, and Carey takes a great mark. Took it from behind Christie. Plays it on quickly. McGuinness has lost control of it, but for how long can he pick it up? Christie's got a chase. He's overrun it. Christie jumps over the ball. McGuinness shoves it out in front of him and gets paid holding the band.
He must have handballed it. He was held onto after he got rid of the ball.
Well, McGuinness had to do it the hard way. He's finally earned the free.
He's out of confidence, I think, at the moment, Tony McGuinness.
McGuinness's kick. He's found Stephen Kernahan. McIntyre behind. Oh, Kernahan went for that shot. It'll give. It hasn't come off. McIntyre and Slattery dive over it. It comes out the back door before Hewitt can pick it up, and it's over the line. So plenty of error there by Stephen Kernahan. Trying to get the game going quickly, but you've got to hit your body.
Good comment. I think that's what they're about. I think the coach has probably told them they've got to start getting a bit of teamwork and a bit of run going.
Oh, there's one. Christie hits one out, goes to the wrong player. Stringer gets it. Now the Bays go forward to the half-forward line. Kernahan in front of the pack, couldn't take it. Oh, good run there. Doesn't come off again. Tony Hall. And he's going to pay neither. Umpire Hilton will bounce it at centre half-forward for Glenelg. Kernahan at the back, tried to get the tap on. Now weaving his way out of that, Butler for South Adelaide. Runs into Talbot, out of bounds. Tight game.
Glenelg certainly getting into attack this quarter, but they've added 2 goals so far. Robin White, he was well tackled, but it was a little bit high according to umpire Hilton. Unfortunate for McDermott. It's a strong tackle on Robin White. So White will go towards centre wing. He's looking for Schneebickler. Sport away from behind. Butler applied that tackle on Talbot. Fairclough wants a holding the ball decision, but the umpire will bounce up.
22 frees apiece at this stage, Rick. So the Bay crowd probably expect they're about 2-1 against the way they react to some of the decisions, but that's the way our stats man sees it as the Bays come forward. Kernahan and McIntyre could only tap it away. McDermott in front, runs it around, looks for Talbot. Talbot has to dive over it. Butler's got hold of him. Now a break on. Stringer is legged.
Now that's an interesting one, isn't it? He took him by the hips on the first go and then ran down his legs as he tried to break clear. And one could perhaps say that he had an ample opportunity to get rid of it, and then he dragged him down his body, but it's no doubt that he was tackled around the ankles, and that's a very handy free kick to receive at this stage, leading at the moment by just the 5 points, Glenelg.
So Alan Stringer, the centre half forward, lines up and is offline, well offline. Umpire had to run a long way for one behind to the Bays. 10-5, 1 goal clear of South.
Yes, the umpires adjudge the fact of getting adequate time to get rid of the ball. That's what the holding the ball rule is dictated upon. the fact that how long you have the ball when you get it, not from when the tackle is applied. So if you have the ball and you try to break clear, and the umpire judges from when you first get possession of the ball as having adequate time. And on that occasion, we saw Stringer running through a pack and trying to barge it.
Darren Campbell for South Adelaide will drive them towards the centre wing. Big punch away out of the pack. Campbell should be first to it. There's Robin White again applying a strong tackle. Whistle will go this time for a bounce-up decision. Robin White, probably one of the best and meanest tacklers in the game. He caught a couple of times himself today.
Gee, big thump by Peter Carey. Looking for McDermott, but again, out of bounds. Well, all of a sudden, we don't see the goals scored in the game. We've had a big scoring second quarter down here at Brighton Road, but now we're 14 minutes in, and it's a much tighter quarter. As Marshall gets hold of it, centre-half forward, pops it right into the square. In fact, further than that, straight through the middle. Great goal, David Marshall. His first. Glenelg get that 2-goal break. 11-5 on South's 9-5.
So Glenelg has kicked 3 goals from the quarter, and then we see David Marshall on the check side of the pack, and he does this so well. When he feels that he's free, he's got great feel for where his opponents and his teammates are. He just then steadied himself that fraction to enable himself to get the ball to the boot accurately and kicked it through the centre with a delightful drop punt.
Glenelg by 12 points as Schneebichler comes into ruck for South. Irvine, the handball out towards Craig Dewhurst. He's got Campbell behind him. He can't pick it up at the moment. Now he's got it. Campbell wasn't that good. Glenelg again through Wayne Stringer to get out of trouble. Carey held his ground, couldn't quite bring it down. Players are pounce upon the ball. Huge stack developing there. With Hewitt getting legged as he tries to get out of it. Finally untangled themselves, and umpire Des Foster will probably throw this one out right in the centre of that mud patch. Graham Cornes watches and hopes. Keatley comes out for Glenelg, gets around his own player in McDermott. Short little left foot kick towards Kernahan. He's picked it up on top of the daisy cutters. Stephen Kernahan, large mobile player. Huge stretch down to the ground there to snap that one up above the blades of grass. Booms into full forward. Copping appeared to get pushed out by Brooksby.
Absolutely no way. There's an old trick. How you can fall for that. What Copping did was he just ran back straight into Brooksby, and then as Brooksby hit him, he just fell forward and got a free kick. And the umpire caught the umpire on his reflex. The umpire's got to make a decision whether the player Copping, who's not allowed to make contact when the ball's not within 5 metres, has in fact gone back and shepherded into Brooksby. Brooksby hit him in the back, all right. There's no doubt about that.
4 frees in front as Copping. That's another one. It's his 3rd goal. Glenelg go now to 12 goals 5. 3 goals clear of the Panthers.
Neil Curley, a spectator in the crowd today, maybe having a look at these two sides, hoping that West can get into the final 5. They've got to play Norwood tomorrow. 17 minutes gone in this 3rd quarter. South have only got 1 point on the board so far. We've seen a lot of scoring to the southern end. Schneebichler in the centre mud patch. Drop punt. McFarlane got it better than the others. Made good ground and took it on the chest.
McFarlane will come out to the grandstand side. Stringer tried for it in front. Schneebichler tries to go through. Doesn't make the ball his object, and so he doesn't get it. Bays pick up a free kick. Alan Stringer, centre-half forward. Well, that's off the side of the boot. McGuinness in front, though. Turns it, taps it over his head cleverly. Can he keep it in play? No, sir. So the throw-in on the half-forward flank for Glenelg. It's been their quarter. Slight advantage of the breeze, which heads pretty well straight across the ground, but just slightly favouring the Darlington end of the ground. McDermott. Oh, big fly by Hall at the back, picked up by Copping, who pops it through. And this is a great quarter by the Bays. His 4th, and Glenelg go to 13-5 on South's 9-5.
So 5 goals now to Glenelg this quarter. Flying in the air then, Tony Hall against 2 South Adelaide opponents. Copping staying down, sharking the pack very, very well. And then coming around the front, he finished it off with a controlled left foot kick, and Glenelg are really motoring home in this 3rd quarter.
Carey's rucked nearly all day for Glenelg. He's done a mighty job. He's against Schneebicker at this point of time. Big tap by Carey to Butler. South have got to get it up into their forward line. Kepler gets away. Quick handball on to Irvine. Irvine towards the pocket area. Another ill-directed one, Mark. Oh, it has been paid to McFarlane, has it?
He nearly marked it.
Yeah.
Does he get 15 metres?
No, he ran into Harris.
And then fell over when he could have held his ground.
I saw an interesting incident just about 30 seconds ago where Robin White got flung out of the pack down this other end, and the umpire came across and spoke to the Glenelg opponent. No free in it.
Carey to Campbell. Carey did that well. So, Campbell now will put the Bays back into attack again. Palmer. Now, the whistle's gone, and the free kick is going to McIntyre. It must have been Kernahan, yes, the offender.
Kernahan was shepherding when the ball wasn't within 5 metres. Copping got a free kick for that a minute ago.
I see Coach Campbell saying it now. Our stars were ruined again today. Got to play it out there, though. So Glenelg go forward. It's a long, good kick right in. Has to be mopped up, but it's not mopped up. Yes, it is by McIntyre. Now the Bays have got it again. It's Kidney who's got a goal. And the Bay crowd loves it. As Glenelg go to 14-5 on South's 9-5.
There's some great football there. Kernahan trying to juggle the ball into his own possession. And McIntyre, every time Kernahan looked as though he was going to kick the ball, McIntyre managed to foil him. And in the end, McIntyre took possession. But unfortunately for him, it was Kidney that recovered it as it was tried to be cleared away. And he's taken a great snap.
It's been an outstanding 10-minute burst by Glenelg. They've gone to 5 goals clear now. South have got to stop this run. They need something out of the centre. Carey again won that tap. Socket off the ground by Butler. Out towards the wing area. McFarlane kept his eyes on that one. Running handball towards Simons. Here go the Bays again. He's going to go towards the pocket area. Big Stephen Kernahan's going to set himself in front. Missed it. Hall at the back. Beautiful little give on. Copping across to Kidney. Can he get another one? He turns, snaps. It's home. Glenelg have got 15 goals, 5, South 9-5. Tara's got it. It's going to Bennett.
Peter Carey's lurking back here, ready to receive. He's just resting along the half-back line.
And it's kicked. Salisbury, Kapler, Nailey. Can he pick it up? He has. Left foot around the body. South back up to their half-forward line. A fine diving mark in defence. John Seabone.
Geez, saved a couple of big runs by South Adelaide. He comes across to Hewitt. Gets it down. Got McFarlane loose. McFarlane on the grandstand wing. Ooh. Got the time to bounce it, pick it up. In front, Hall couldn't take it. Cropping over the back to McDermott. McDermott is tackled on the Hall. Hall has a shot. Schneebick was in the way. Kidney again. Brooksby tried to get it clear and picks up a free kick.
There's a free kick out there just previous to that. There's a holding on decision. It was given to Brooksby quite correctly.
Played it on to Butler. Butler comes grandstand side. Fairclough in front. Glyn Hewitt to Darryl Hewitt. Left boot. High. Oh, Salisbury getting right in the back of Irvine there, giving away the free kick. It was Irvine's mark. Salisbury hadn't have interfered. To the pocket area. Harris a little bit slow. Duthie made front spot, but a clean bowl both of them. There's Harris. In fact, it was Christie that ran out for that one.
Yeah, Christie's resting at full forward, Rick.
Slattery on the bottom.
And there's no doubt he's having trouble with that leg, because just as he went down in that pack there, he felt the calf again. His left calf is the problem for the ruckman, Gary Christie. But he's soldiering on against Carey. Wins that tap. Nailey grabbed hold of it. He was tackled, though. Cleared at the back by Duthie. Duthie into the middle. Schneebick was in the way. He's got a chance to run at goals and put it through if he gets onto it. He gets onto it all right, but it's offline. No, it's not. It's all right. No, it was towards the right-hand goalpost. Got on the right side of it, though, for the goal umpire. He gets 3 goals, and South Adelaide get one back. And, boy, do they need it. 10-5 now behind Glenelg's 15-5.
Well, John Schneebicker very patiently waiting back across the centre of the ground for the rebound from the Glenelg defence. They accommodated him with a very quick kick out that wasn't directed in any way, just anywhere will do, and then he quickly rebounded it with one of his powerful drives, and he floated it through the goals. And he's in the ruck at the moment.
Schneebichler in ruck. He's just kicked South's first goal this quarter, and it came in time on. It's been all Glenelg so far. McDermott taps it forward. Stringer picks up. He's tackled by Fairclough, holding the ball.
Great tackle.
Tried to go through again, didn't pay off. Fairclough towards the half-forward line. Harris couldn't take it. He's not been able to get into the game the way South Adelaide would like it. South Adelaide holding the bays at the moment. They can get back. They were 4 goals down in the first quarter.
Glenelg kicked 7 goals, 2 in the first quarter.
That's what they've done in this quarter too, isn't it? Almost there.
Correct. 7 goals they've kicked. So South are no worse off than they were earlier, except they're a bit tireder.
It's McFarlane with the ball. He drives them into attack, Copping in front, through the legs of Robin White. Hewitt drags the opponent out the way. It comes out the back to McDermott. He snaps one around the body. Which way will this bounce? The wrong way. Fight on behind play. Will stay with the football. Tony Hall's got it with Palmer. That's held up. Meanwhile, Carey gives Brooksby the best.
A left hook.
That was a right hook.
Right hook.
And it was very carelessly done.
And
the umpire saw it. If Des Foster doesn't report in, Carey is a very lucky man.
And he hasn't, I don't think.
I don't think he has either. Des has just walked away. You are a very lucky man, Peter Carey.
Number 1 for the Bays is manages to slip in a few punches while he can too.
He's been in every fight. He's the one who started that one.
The bounce up. Carey's there. Nailey hooks one out of the pack with that left boot. He's found the chest of Darren Kapler. South players starting to run. Nailey sprinting away.
And I think someone popped one behind the play back there. A very bad head. I think you'll find that McIntyre at the back is getting treatment.
It's umpire Hilton with the ball. He's going to bounce. Schneebichler bumps it towards the boundary line. Kapler's picked it up. There's a bit of spirit now in the South Adelaide side. And there's a shot of McIntyre. He's copped one somewhere in the head region. Carey was there with him. McFarlane's got it to Stephen Kernahan.
The Bays go forward, looking for Copping. There's the siren, and that's maybe a relief for South Adelaide because they held them for the last 10 minutes, but the Bays got back into it again. What a quarter for Glenelg on their home ground. 15-5 against South's 10-5.
So Glenelg had a 5-goal break at three-quarter time, and they held South Adelaide in that final quarter. In fact, Glenelg added only 2 points, but South Adelaide managed only 3 goals, 3 with that breeze. So Glenelg by 11 points at the Bay Oval today. The goal kickers, Glenelg, Stephen Copping got 4, Kidney 3 and Stringer 2, while for South, Dewhurst and Schneebichler 3 and Hewitt and Harris 2. And the stats from the game, in the kicks department, Glenelg 189 to South 193, marks 69 to 57, handballs 81 to 76. Now the free kicks, Glenelg managed 31 to South Adelaide's 43. The rucks out of centre 8 to 9, and the scoring shots 22 to Glenelg and 21 to South Adelaide. After the game, Keith and Robert caught up with the 2 respective coaches, the 2 Grahams, Graham Campbell and Graham Cornes.
Graham, it was a very tight game to half-time, although both sides had a good look at it. In the third quarter, for a few minutes, it looked like you were trying to get that fast handball going, and all of a sudden it really seemed to click. Did you see that way?
Well, yeah, we're very aware of the fact we feed off each other, Keith. You know, it's football's a team game where people must back up and be part of the action, going past or forward of the play, and perhaps it wasn't working all that well in the second quarter. We played a pretty good first quarter. After all, we did lead by, I think, 7 goals to 3, and so you can't be upset about that, but the second quarter was flat. And I think the conditions had something to do with it. I think the players running into open goals up there, my own son did it, on the holding ground, just couldn't get their feet and kicked into almost into the man on the mark, not on the mark so much, but 20 yards away, head high, he marked the ball, and that happened a couple of times to us. We really couldn't come to terms with the ground at that end, and neither could South, really. Their 3 goals the first quarter was a marvellous effort, because no one else achieved that all day. I don't think we kicked more than about 2 goals into the breeze if we kicked that. Into what wasn't a tough breeze, but that was the end of the ground that was very shifty. The ground was shifty. It's a strange ground today because the centre was shocking, and centre half forward at that end was pretty bad, and in the square. And honestly, there was a block drain last whatever night it was, Thursday. We couldn't even train Thursday night, but it's worked out. We didn't train Thursday night. We won today. So
the club did a good job though in getting the chopper out there because it obviously dried out the ground. It would have been a lot worse.
Must have helped, Keith, but it wouldn't do much in the goal square because it was done hovering around the middle of the ground. I'm led to believe that anyhow.
Even though they had 5 goals to gain on you in the last quarter, you obviously didn't take it lightly, and it was a very strong defensive effort in the last quarter.
And I didn't play defensive. I was tempted to play a loose man, kick away from the play, but I really felt, hell, we're 5 up. Let's try and make it 6 up. And then Stephen Coke misses the goal from, 30 metres out. Would have made it 6 up, which I wasn't too happy about that, but it was 5 goals, 1 up. Then they made their march. They got a goal out of their backside. Somebody kicked the goal. Oh, it was a Darryl Hewitt. Just kicked it and boom. Might have been Wayne Slattery. Anyhow, it went through from nowhere. They're the goals that lift people. To our credit, we hung in there. We attacked the last 3 minutes of the game, Keith, and there's a lot of good signs this year that we could be going places.
Well, there's a very good chance you'll go into the finals as minor premiers. You've got a pretty good run home now.
People realise that now because a few people were saying we'd probably be the side that would miss out in the double chance at one stage. Now all of a sudden we're talking top. That pleases me, yeah.
Graham, obviously top spot seems to have got away from you now, but the year hasn't been a disaster, no doubt.
Well, I don't think the year's over yet. I mean, top spot's not imperative. One of the top 3 spots, I think, is imperative. It was a big one for us today. It was an important one for us to win. It's also an important one for Glenelg to win, and they just did it better on the day.
And what did you do in the couple of weeks off when you were having your breather, Graham?
We had a fairly light week the previous week. We had a very heavy Thursday night. We didn't do anything last weekend, and we had full training this week, so you know, the boys had fresh legs. There wouldn't have been any excuse.
I was going to mention that Mark Naley seems to have moved a lot better, particularly early today, than he had in previous matches I've seen him.
He did. He looked very sharp, and I think you know, you strive to get one of the top 3 spots to get a week off in finals time, and it's presented to you a couple of games before the end of the minor round, and we sort of took advantage of it. Although the results today didn't sort of indicate that. Obviously, your own injury didn't help today. The fact that you weren't able to go back onto the ground, what will that mean in the future? Will you recover from it? I don't know, Robert. It's I've had it. I did it against Norwood, and I thought I'd got over it completely, but there was all that little nagging feeling there, and it just went completely on me out there. And I went one way, and my knee stayed, and just sort of felt as though it clicked out, and it gave me a great deal of discomfort. And I'll just have to wait and see how it settles down. I guess I'm not that confident of it at the moment.
And let's hope we see Graham Cornes back on the field for South Adelaide. I think today, if he'd have played 4 quarters and maybe come on for one of those live wire 10-minute bursts of him in the forward lines, we may have seen a different result at the Bay today. And Robert, just listening to Graham there, he's talking about that vitals double chance. And when you look at South Adelaide, they're a very young side, and obviously they're going to need that when the pressure of the finals begins.
I think they will. That's true, Rick. The centre line, young Dewhurst, he was put back into the centre today, coming back from injury, and he played some very good football, particularly in the first half. The 2 captains on the wings, they played excellent games as well. Their attacking play is very strong. They're beautiful kicks, and I'm sure that come finals time, it'll be of great advantage to South Adelaide with these young fellows forming their key attacking line across centre to have a second chance should they happen to lose. But they're a pretty competent side, and they've got a lot of moving and mobile players, but they just need, I think, an extra chance in the finals.
Robert, I had the impression that South were one of the most experienced teams in the league in terms of number of games played with the players. I thought they were pretty experienced, but the thing that concerns me about South is their ruck. I mentioned this at the head of the show. I feel with Gary Christie, if anything goes wrong with him, what are they going to do for an extra ruckman? Now, they're coming up against some very talented players in the finals.
Yeah, they are. In answer to your first question about experience, I'm talking about that key attacking line, and it's that area in particular. They'll be looking for these young fellows to produce the goods. And I agree with you, they need some help in the ruck, but they haven't got that, although I think that John Schneebichler's got a lot of mobility and he's handy to have there. But of course, what happened today was Graham Cornes getting injured hasn't helped them at all, because he can always go on to centre half forward, and even though he's a lot older now, he's still got a bit of bounce in those legs, and when he goes up into the forward line and starts jumping around, he causes the opposition a little bit of concern. And I think that they've got a chance on the big football park with the small fellows around. They've based their game on it, Ian.
Oh, if Schneebichler has to go and ruck, what happens to centre half forward? I mean, the other Brooksby's got to come back. I think he's the answer, but even he's not tall in terms of ruckman. And I'm just thinking of, as I said, you're looking at Johnson and Kennedy, you're looking at Kernahan and Carey.
Yes,
Good
Peter
players.
Carey might be found a little bit wanting on footy park in the running department out in the field play. There's no questioning his ability to tap the ball out and to play that part of the game. But Glenelg are in pretty good shape. They played good footy today. They're very competitive. I remember saying during the call that they don't get behind now. They used to win by a lot of goals once when they were going well. But when things aren't going for them quite as well now, they certainly aren't selling out, and they're fighting right to the bitter end.
They look good to me.
Thanks, Robert. You're watching the big replay. More football after this short break.